Welcome back to our lesson. Last meeting I discussed to you about the list and the Python slicing. Today I'll be discussing on building a list from the scratch as well as the combination of using a range function and the for method. Alright, this time I'll be using the Python ALDA. Alright, so when you create a list from the scratch, what you can do is, example, let me say books. Okay, this is your variable name. And we're going to put here list. So in this case, we are creating a list from scratch, meaning it's empty. Now, what you're going to do, assuming we're going to add a title of the book or just a certain name in our items where we're going to put inside our list. So you just type here books is equal to, alright, I forgot to mention that I'll be using also the method of append. So append, it is something that you can add in elements at the end of the list. So this is another method that you can apply. And this is commonly used in a data structure where we can say the method is last in, last out, right? So we will be using the word append. Append means to add an element into the list, but it will be added at the end of the list. So inside the parentheses, we can put here, let me say, I'll just put here math. And all right, now close the parentheses. So if you're going to print this one, you will have now the, let's say, books, sorry. We have now the math. And if you want to add more items in our list, you just simply type again books, append. Then you just simply put in here, let me say English, right? You can, I forgot, you can use double quote or single quote. It doesn't matter, but there are times that you will be using the double quote instead of the single quote. Okay, don't forget that one. Okay, example here, English. Then we're going to add another one, which is books, append. Let me see. I'll be adding again, like, let me say, can you give me an example? Okay, Rizal. Okay, there's another one, Rizal. And I'll be adding another one called Natsai. Example, Natsai. Alright, so this will be the last. So if we're going to print this one, books, so we have now 1, 2, 3, 4 items in our list, right? So this is the process when you do creating or building a list from scratch. However, if you will use the method of insert, let me say, I'll just type here books that insert. So this is another method. If you want to insert, let me say Filipino. All right, Filipino. Oops, you will get an error for this one because you need to specify where you're going to insert it. All right, so this is the word you will encounter with the use of list. What do you think we're going, well, the solution for this one, for the insert method? As you can see here, we had the type error, which is located, and it says here inserted expected 2 arguments, get 1. So the Python shell number 7 in the line 1, the books that insert something wrong. So Python does not recognize it on something missing. So you need to check how you're going to insert it. Try to look at it here in our code. Where is the Python shell number and the line 1? So the line 1 referring to our last command, which is the book.insert. So the method or the syntax for using the insert, it should be list.insert, then the index, the value where it should be positioned, in what position, because if you're going to count this one example, math, English, Rizal, and Natsai, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Now you need to include the index or the position, and then after that there should be what we call elements. So the syntax would be like insert, open close parenthesis, then I, comma, then lm. The element refers to the element shifted to the right. So all right, so example, we're going to fix this one. So let me say we're going to insert here 0, 1. So we type it again, books.insert. Then in here you can put, let me say, 1. Then type in again the, oops, I'll just use this one, Filipino, close parenthesis. Let's see if we're going to get an error. So there's no error now. Let me double check this one. Where's now my code? Okay, up. Okay, there you are, Filipino. Right, so if we're going to print this one, books, so we have inserted the Filipino and the index 1. So previously we had here math, so this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and 3. Since we put here in the index 1, so automatically the Filipino book will be inserted on this position. So that's the difference between this method. Using the append, it will be inserted at the end, okay, and the last part of your items. But when you use the insert command method, you need to specify in what position or what index it should be. All right, set it clear now. Okay, so there's also another way that you can say pop. When we say pop, it means it will be removed. Example, I will type here books.pop and close parenthesis. The word pop means remove an element in our list. So the one being last or the first, okay, let's not say, okay, the last one being inserted, which is not say based on the list, that's the one will be deleted first, because the first one we inserted English, then Rizal, and then not say. So obviously in this case the method of pop will be deleting the last part. On this is an example of stocks operation and data structure. Okay, so with the use of pop method. Okay, there's also another method that we can apply in here using the remove. So when we say remove method, it takes a single element as an argument and removes it from the list. Okay, so the syntax would be just remove then parenthesis. Let me say I'll be removing, first thing that you need to do, type the variable name books, then type here the word remove. Then you need to specify here what you want to remove. Let me say Rizal. I'll be removing Rizal. Okay, when results when deleted or removed from the items or in the list, and you're going to print it again, books, so there's no more result. Okay, so that's the difference between the remove and the pop, because pop will only delete this side only. All right, so if we're going to do this again, example pop, well, see, the last one will be deleted, this part, English. So as you notice here, we only have now math and Filipino. So if we're going to print it, books, so we have now math and Filipino. That's the updated list. Okay, so again, that's the difference between the pop and the remove method. So in the remove, you need to specify what you want to remove. Okay, now we're okay with the index. We discussed about the insert, pop, append, and remove. Okay, so that's an example again of using those methods in Python. Now let's add another one. It's like the question is something in a list? So the Python provides two operators that let you check if an item is in the list. So these are logical operators that return true or false. They don't modify the list actually. So assuming we're going to have another list, let me say, again, I'll be using the books. Okay. We had here two subjects remain, the math and the Filipino. We're going to ask here, let me say, I'll be asking English. So you have to put it in the single quote or double quote, because unless it's a number, then you don't need to put a single quote or double quote. Then in here, we'll be using English and books. So it's like a question. So the result of this one, it would say false, because obviously there's no more English in here. Okay, let's ask another one. Is result in the items of books false? There is no more result because we actually remove it already. Now, how about I would say math? Okay, let's start this one first. Math in books false. What's the reason why it's false? It's because Python is actually case sensitive. So the one with this lowercase is a different term, and this one is also different. So it should be the same spelling. And if you're going to type the way that it is being stored in the list, example like this, math in books, true. Okay, so that's the use of in Python. Very easy, right? Now there is also a way that you can order the list. A list can hold many items and keep those items in order until the items in the order we do something to change it. And the list can be also sorted. Okay, just like when you sort something. Let me say I'm going to add another one. Let me say numbers. I'll just use numbers. Numbers and bracket. Right, I'll just put here 1. Let me say 4, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6. So this is an example of unsorted numbers. Now if you want to sort this one, these numbers, you just simply type here numbers. So the method that you will be using here is using the word sort. Then open close parenthesis. So the items in the list will now be sorted. So if you're going to print this again, print numbers. Okay. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simply as that. And if you want to find out what's the position of 6, I mean, if you want to find out what is in the index 1, let me say numbers, bracket 1, it will say 2. Okay, that here 2. Okay, so you just apply the sort method. Okay, now you learn already what's the use of in and sort. Okay, we can also use some functions that are built in Python. Let me say, we will be using the same with this one. Nums, we're going to use the method of length. Length is getting what's the size in the container. Okay, numbers, I think I discussed this already about the use of length. Okay, so we have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's correct. Now, if we want to find what's the maximum number, you just simply type in here, max, then numbers. Okay, so the maximum number is 6. How about the minimum number? What's the minimum? Right, numbers. Okay, print the minimum. So we had 1. And if you go, it's also possible that you can add all this together without using any operator. How it should be done? You just simply use the method sum. Okay, just like in Excel. So numbers, like that. So let's try now. Okay, enter. So if we're going to add all of this is equivalent to 23. Okay, and you can also do another, meaning you will divide this one, add all of this, then divide the length numbers. So that's all possible. Example, print, then sum numbers, okay, then divide by length, different the length, which is how many items are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, right? Okay, close. So we have now the result of 3.5. Okay, all right, so those are the basics. So just a review, we learn about the sorting, the use of max, min, and the sum method in here. All right.